Hey now, Brawlers, it's time for another Board Game Brawl review with Nick Minahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Hey peeps, today we're going to take a look at Linkee. Linkee from the company Bananagrams. This is a party game for quite a lot of players. I think it technically goes up to 30, although you could theoretically do more. That is a word association game, or a word linking game, hence the name of the game, where you are asking, someone is going to be the question master, and you are asking the teams of players questions, and they have to find out the common link between them. That's pretty much the game, but there is an overview. Let's go ahead and do the overview anyways. Then we're going to come back, and I'll let you know what I think.
Linkee is a competitive party game for many players. Typically, one player will be the question master and read the questions in the game to two or more teams of varying numbers of players. Each answer card in the game that is won by a team has one of 5 letters on the back, and an extra E in a different color. The first team to spell out Linkee is the winner. So how do you go about getting those cards? After someone is determined to be the question master, and the teams are decided, give each team a notepad and a pencil. Then, the question master simply grabs a card and starts reading. Every card has 4 questions. Each question has a very simple answer. The question master reads each question one at a time, and each time the teams will whisper to each other and try to write down the correct answer on their pad without letting the other players know. After all 4 questions are read, or at any time before, if they think they know it before all the questions are read, one team needs to shout out Linkee and make a guess as to what the common link is between the answers to all 4 questions. If no team can get it after a reasonable amount of time, you can give a final obvious clue. If someone does get it right, they get to take the card. If you shout out Linkee but you get it wrong, you've just lost your chance for this card. Here are some examples of what I mean by the questions. So for these questions, the answers are drum, canal, swimmer, and wax. The common thread between them is ears. Even though the questions for the 4 answers may have nothing to do with the link, the answers verbatim are all that matters. In fact, many of the questions are really easy, but that's not really what matters. Sometimes outside-the-box thinking is required. For instance, on this card, the answers are Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, and Amy Winehouse. The common link? You might guess musicians, but really it's that they all died at the age of 27, which is a bit morbid, I agree. Quite a few are also based on specific media. If you had the answers Hank, Jesse, Mike, and Walt, you would, of course, guess Breaking Bad. If you didn't guess that, well, we can't be friends. And that's the general gist of what to expect. The last thing I'll mention is that you can actually trade spare letters in this game if you need a missing letter or if you want to screw an opposing team. Trading in 2 letters will let you kill one of your opponent's letters, or you can trade in 3 spares to get a letter of your choice from the box. That is Linkee.
Now, Linkee is a very simple game, okay? There's not a lot to it. You will have it up and running in 5 minutes, and it will not take you very long to play unless you really play it all the way to the filling out the word Linkee, which you probably won't get to that point, nor probably should you. If I was going to make one of the recommendations for this game, I would say just treat this like Cards Against Humanity and see how many points you can get and then stop at a certain point. It's not to be taken that seriously, or Concept, where you just say, okay, we're done. That type of thing. But as simple as it is, as straightforward as it is, as not a lot of surprises being that it is, that didn't make any sense, I like it. I do. I actually had a surprising amount of fun with this game. And what's interesting is that I had a lot of fun with it, primarily being the question master. Only one time, and that was actually just doing a quick 2-player killing time while other people finished up thing, did I actually answer questions as one of the other people. And that was fine too. But playing as the question master, acting kind of like a game show host in a way, giving the questions to the other teams and watching the teams commiserate on them and deliberate and whisper, and trying to hide it from the other players, I found that fun, surprisingly fun. I liked doing it, and I was kind of worried when I read that rule at first. And everyone else I played with had fun as well, trying to guess all the different answers and questions. It's just a very simple premise, but it links together well, no pun intended, trying to get these different very simple questions. Well, for the most part, the questions are very simple. Of course, you're going to... It's essentially trivia to a degree. Before you get to where trying to associate the common link, even that is trivia to a degree, but everything else is just like quick pop culture trivia facts. But for the most part, they're relatively simple. It's not really about that. It's about linking these different things together and trying to get to that common word, which is easy, but it's still fun and kind of intriguing. Now, the big problem that I have with the game, not enough to make me not recommend it necessarily, but significant enough, is that the difficulty is all over the place. It really is. One card might be something really straightforward, like types of dogs, right? Like, and it'll be like wiener and cocker and that kind of stuff. But then you might get to one, like there was a Friends card where all the common link was characters from the show Friends. And also all the questions were leading to the names of the characters. But then like one of the questions will be the answer to the question was buffet, like something in a restaurant, buffet. And that was referring to the last name of Phoebe from the show. So really weird things like that, like just things that sort of stick out and just are not quite that intuitive, that they just kind of crowbar in there to make the clues work. Or just in general, the cards being more difficult. Like I gave an example in the overview of the one where the common thread you would think was musicians, but in reality it was people who died at the age of 27. Well, that's very specific, and it might take you a minute. And some people who are not good at trivia don't know anything about pop culture, and there are people like that, surprising amount of them in board gaming, because they're more concerned with programming and architecture and smart people stuff. Whereas I just consume drivel. So I know all of this. But they're going to have a hard time with that. So I think I don't like the difficulty all over the place. I think the concept idea of there being different skill categories, I don't expect them to have a 10-inch long card that has bunches of questions on them of different skill categories. But there are 3 full stacks of cards in that box. Maybe have an easy, medium, and difficult. That might have been a better idea. But I don't think it's a game killer. I think overall the game is still solid. Just know that if you have a nerd in your group, an alpha nerd, they're going to run away with the game. Okay? That's just going to happen. And by the way, I mean, you can play to fill out the full word if you want. There is trading rules, but I kind of feel it's just unnecessary. I don't even know why they bothered with that. Just play the game and have fun. I think this is the kind of game, like concept, where you can use it as part of something else if you have group activities, something like that. It just kind of lends itself to that. It's a very simple game, very straightforward, but I dug it, and I think I'll keep it in my sort of collection of party games as one that is easy, fast, bring it out with anybody who's at least a little bit into pop culture trivia. That is Linkee from Bananagrams. Check it out if you are so inclined.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.